What's up, guys? So I am going to be doing another pick a card reading today, and it's going to be for why you are unique. So what makes you unique? I'm gonna do 4 piles today. So for pile number 1, we're looking at the 2 of spades. For pile number 2, we're looking at the 10 of diamonds. For pile number 3, we're looking at the 7 of spades. And for pile number 4, we're looking at the 10 of clubs. So again, that's the 2 of spades for pile number 1, the 10 of diamonds for pile number 2, the 7 of spades for pile number 3, and the 10 of wands for pile number 4. For the collective, I've got the Jack of spades. So the collective is very clever. This is a very clever collective. What makes you unique is your mind. Your mind is you think outside of the box, and you are very good at coming up with unorthodox solutions to problems. That is what makes you unique. Or at least one of the things that makes you unique. So again, we're looking for pile number 1. It's going to be the 2 of spades. For pile number 2, it's the 10 of diamonds. For pile number 3, it's the 7 of spades. And for pile number 4, it's the 10 of clubs. So we are going to get started with pile number 1, the 2 of spades. Already, I'm getting the energy that you are patient. This is a very patient energy. Someone who's willing, very Knight of Pentacles energy. Someone who's willing to put in the work to get long-term results, basically. This is also the energy of someone who doesn't need to be in the spotlight, someone who's a very, very good team player. The people in your life, I think, would say that you're a very easygoing person. You're very easy to work with. You're very easy to get along with. Very go with the flow energy. And when you go looking for support because of that, you find it, I feel. You're very, very well supported both in the physical and the spiritual realm. So let's see. What makes pile 1 unique? And we've got the 9 of swords. So already you keep going regardless of how scary things are. I get the feeling of someone who powers through even when you don't want to, even when it feels like you can't. This is the energy of someone who you might be bogged down by a very painful history. You may have gone through some really, really severe things in your past, and you deal with that every day very well. This is the energy of someone who probably part of why you are such a patient energy is because you've had to be patient in your life. Your life may have not gone so easily up until this point. I get the feeling that you're moving out of that energy, or you've been moving out of that energy for a second now, but there is the sense that you had to go through it to get to where you are right now. And your ability, that resilience, it makes you unique. And we've got the 2 of cups. And despite everything that you've gone through, you are a very, very caring person. people, especially the people around you, especially the people who care about you, I have a feeling that more people care about you than you even realize. But the people who care about you, they would say that you are constantly like overflowing with love. I get the sense of like an overflowing cup. You are someone who will give and give and give regardless of where you are sitting. Very much the energy of someone who, when you are feeling down about yourself, you take care of other people. It's almost like a reflexive thing. And that can be an amazing quality that can very easily burn someone out. Definitely the message to rest and rejuvenate when you need to. Don't give and give until you have nothing left to give. Even when you feel like you have to be that overflowing cup, you can't give from an empty cup, right? Make sure that you take care of yourself. And we've got the Five of Wands. Very much a fighter. Yeah, you need the reminder to take care of yourself and to take a break, I think. Very much the energy, again, I'm getting the energy of the Knight of Pentacles, someone who is willing to put in all this work regardless of whether or not you want to. The Five of Wands speaks of not serious fighting. When I see the Five of Wands, I very often read it as almost like infighting, like fighting your baser nature. And that's what you do every day. Again, I feel like you're someone who you put in the work to being good at what you do. You put in the work to showing up every day and doing your job, showing up every day and being a good friend, a good partner, a good worker. You are someone who has been through a lot. And I don't think that people who don't know you would even expect that. I think that the people in your life who just meet you like off the street or meet you in passing, they assume that you are someone who's had a really good life because you're someone who is capable of being very sweet and kind despite what you've gone through. There's a very, very prominent and wrong belief just in general that to suffer is to make someone grow or make them wise. And a lot of the time, suffering is just suffering. Suffering is not a lesson. Suffering is not something that you needed to go through. It was just something that happened to you. And a lot of people are surprised that you are still capable of getting up every day and smiling despite everything that you've gone through. There's a sense that some people may think that you're naive. Some people might read your happiness and like your kindness very wrong and see it as like a sense of naivety. Again, with that energy of thinking that suffering makes someone wise or more mature. And I feel like you prove those people wrong exponentially and very quickly. People who misread you, they're proven wrong very quickly because you, again, are someone who put in the work to being a kind person, which means that when that kindness is gone, I feel like you have a temper. Like when people push you too far, they realize too late that they've been pushing you too far. It's not that you're naive. It's not that you're kind because you don't know how to be anything else. It's that you're kind because you choose to be kind. And when people take advantage of that, I don't think you respond well to it. And honestly, that ability to hold that boundary, it makes you very unique. I don't get the energy of a people pleaser here, even though this is the energy of someone who gives and gives and gives until you've got nothing left to give. I think that makes you feel as good as it makes the people around you feel. I think maybe you can get a little bit addicted to that energy of having people need you. But that isn't necessarily the end. Like, I don't think that you do this specifically because you need to please other people. You know what I mean? And because of that, you're capable of putting that boundary there. You're capable of cutting people off when they no longer deserve your energy or deserve your care. And that makes you very unique. That is a very, very unique skill. It's very rare to find someone who is capable of giving so readily, but also pulling back when they realize they're not being appreciated. Don't ever lose that. It is an incredible skill to have. Justice. Yeah, balance. All about balance. All about the scales. You give people what they give back to you. I get the feeling that you are someone who you're willing to give anyone a chance, but once they squander that chance, it's done. You give them exactly what they give you. Everything is give and take in this energy here. And it's probably because people have taken advantage of you before. You may have been a people pleaser at one point in your life, and you had to grow out of that. You had to stop. You had to realize where boundaries were because people will take advantage of that. There are people who will just take and take and take. And you had to learn where to set lines and how to find balance. Justice is also equipped with a sword, right? It's not just about finding balance in the scales, it's also about protecting that balance. And I think that was a lesson that you needed to learn. You needed to learn how to protect your peace because you can't give if you're in a state where everything is falling apart. Even someone who's willing to give everything can't give if they're in the middle of everything crumbling around them. That's just not possible. So you learned how to build yourself an environment where you can give comfortably and you can take back if you need to keep yourself safe. And that ability is wonderful. It makes you very, very unique. It makes you stand out. People notice that about you. People really respect that about you too. I get the feeling that people respect you. They might not respect you at first. I do feel like people misread you very often. I think you're someone who can be very, very easily misread. But once people are proven wrong and they're misreading you, they get proven wrong out the ballpark. They have to acknowledge that they were wrong about almost everything that they expected out of you. And it can be kind of like a slap to the face, even if you're not the one slapping them, frankly. I feel like there are people who have been proven so wrong about you, they've had to literally eat their words. And that can be a very humbling process. I think that you've humbled people without even realizing it. Like, I think just you living your life and experiencing life the way you do, walking through life as someone who has gone through really, really tough stuff and has come out on the other side still a wonderful, soft person upon meeting them. It's very rare. People don't expect that at all, and they definitely don't expect it out of you when they first meet you. There is a sense here that you are very, very polite, like courteous, good with your words in the sense of being courteous. And there are people who they assume that there's a sense of shallowness here. They assume that you're someone who's very shallow. And that assumption, I feel, is one that people end up regretting. Because when people assume that they know everything there is to know about a person, they start slipping up and making that really obvious. And frankly, that's an incredibly insulting thing to think that you have someone down pat, you have them all read, they're not a person that contains multitudes. That's a very incredibly offensive thing to think about a person, especially someone who you've just met. And I feel like you have humbled people before by proving them wrong. The Six of Wands. Yeah, you come out on the other end on top. You started the reading with the Nine of Swords and you ended it, at least the spread right here, with the Six of Wands. You're someone who, regardless of how many times you fall, regardless of how bad that fall is, regardless of how many tower moments you go through, you come back out on top. And it makes you incredibly unique. Not because you're lucky, though I do get the sense that you have a little bit of luck to you. You'd have to be able to fall down and get back up again. But it's not that you're lucky, it's that you are resilient. You're a very resilient person. It makes you so unique. People don't expect that level of resilience from you. I get the feeling that you're very, very attractive, physically attractive. So you might get accused of having pretty privilege or something like that. People might assume that you've had things handed to you your whole life because you are a very physically attractive person. And that physical attractiveness paired with the kindness that you offer people initially, people misread that as you being naive or being shallow. And that's not the case. And they end up having to eat their words about it. At the end, you always, always come out on top. You always end up in a victory march, and people people are forced to eat their words. They're forced to watch as you roll by. The Page of Cups. And so this is the second card that features alcohol in it. So you might be someone who likes to party. You might be someone who can... I get the energy of someone who, when you let yourself loose, you let loose. You become the life of the party. There is a sense here, though, that you try to hold back on that. You may be someone who has a little bit of trouble keeping your work and life balance together when you're partying a little bit too hard, and you've gotten your act together, frankly. Like, even if you never had an issue with that, there is a sense here that you've grown up a lot. Like, people around you have watched you grow and watched you mature, and it's again that transition from the Nine of Swords to the Six of Wands. Roosters, healthy, masculine, protective, caretaker. What sticks out there is the caretaker. Again, you care for people. People feel very comfortable around you, I think. People feel very trusting around you, especially once they learn your story, especially once people are given the opportunity to learn more about you. They feel very, very comfortable around you, I think. They start to trust you more and more very easily. And we've got the Canary, beautiful voice, popular, wonderful companion. And the Octopus, mysterious, mischievous, hard to grasp. So the two of these together give me very strong popular loner energy. That might be part of why there's such an energy here of people misunderstanding you or misreading you. You don't care if people are correct about how they read you or not, is what I'm getting. The roosters popped out again. Healthy, masculine, protective, caretaker. Yeah, roosters can be very, very, we'll go with argumentative, protective, territorial. Like, I get the sense that you're not someone who really cares if people understand you. What you care about is if people respect you. I feel like you may have gone through a phase in your life where people were very, very disrespectful towards you, possibly and probably because they misread you or they misunderstood you. And you have developed these boundaries specifically because you got tired of people disrespecting you or taking you for granted. We've got the Elephant, intelligent, intuitive, and nurturing. Again, with the nurturing energy, I think that you're someone who is a very classical nurturing caregiver. You're someone who it comes very naturally for you to take care of other people. It's taken you a lot of growing to get to a point where actually you know how to take care of yourself. I think you've had to grow into learning how to take care of yourself. And that kind of selflessness makes you unique. It's a very, very unique quality. It's not often you meet people who need to learn how to take care of themselves because they've spent too much time taking care of other people. Some of you may be single parents. There is a sense here of having to take care or nurture other people. And there are... The Little Prince is representative as a child, and in both of these cards you can kind of see he looks smaller. There is a sense of children around here. If not literal children, you're someone who probably is very often surrounded by people who are not the most emotionally mature, and it lands on you to be the backbone of that kind of thing, to be the emotionally mature one in a situation like that, which isn't easy. It's not always easy, and it explains a lot about why you would have a hard time taking care of yourself or knowing how to take care of yourself as opposed to taking care of other people. Very, very eldest daughter energy, very, very single parent energy. You spent so much of your life taking care of other people that you have had to learn how to be selfish to take care of yourself. And we've got the Lovebird, ideal partner, wonderful homemaker, beautiful voice. That is the second beautiful voice that we've got We started with the canary and we ended with the lovebird. People love you. People love you. Part of how people might misunderstand you is there is a sense here of idealization. Um, I feel like people think that they know you much sooner and much more thoroughly than they actually do. You're someone who makes people feel so at home. And once they find out that they were wrong about you being shallow, they think that they know everything again. Like they think that they've opened this wonderful door and now they know all of your magnitude, all of your multitudes. And that's just not the case. I feel like you are someone who it's very easy for people to get swept up in your energy, and they do. Beautiful voice came out twice, by the way. What could be very unique about you is you could be very, very talented at singing. If not singing, then just music in general. And if not music in general, people like to hear you talk. People just like to hear you talk. They like to hear you sing. There's something about your voice that's very hypnotic. I'm getting the energy of a siren. People are very allured to you. You're very alluring. Very the energy of someone could see you or hear you from across a crowded room and be very, very drawn to that energy right away. They can't help it. There's something magnetic about you. That's something that makes you very unique. And we've got the falcon, another bird, loyal, collaborative, intelligent, and a very different energy for that bird. Again, when people get to know you, they realize that you are so deep. You go very deep. You have very deep experiences. You have very deep thoughts. You're a very deep person, and people get kind of addicted to that energy. I think they want more of it and more of it all the time. It's very unique. It makes you very unique. You're not a dime a dozen. You're someone who stands out, and once people have that energy in their life, they don't really want to give it up. They feel I get actually the sense of entitlement. I feel like there are people who when they get to know you, they can feel a little bit entitled to your energy just because they get a little bit addicted to your energy. Panda bears, charming, cute, and laid back. People just get a little bit addicted to your energy, I think. They really like being around you. And I think part of it is that you are such a unique person that people they want more of it. They can't find it anywhere else. They're never going to replace you. They feel like they're never going to replace you. So they have to keep you as close as possible. You might have issues with people getting a little bit clingy with you or expecting more out of your relationship, more than you're willing to give. Possibly even like you might have issues with people misreading intentions, especially romantically. There is a sense that because you're a natural caregiver, people can misunderstand you caring for them as something more than just you being a good person. And that might have caused you problems in your life. You're just a very easily lovable person. More than anything else, it's that you're a very, very easy to love person. And I think that people can get a little bit addicted to that feeling of love. It's not a bad thing by any means, but I can see how it could be maybe a little frustrating sometimes. The Queen of Wands. Very physically attractive. On top of being a good person, a very, very good person, a very kind person, you're very, very physically attractive. What makes you unique is the fact that people want to scoop you up immediately. People see you as the ideal partner, and they want to partner with you. And I think part of that desperate want to partner with you is, again, that sense of possessiveness. I don't want to say they want to own you, but I feel like if you get into toxic relationships, even ones that aren't romantic, you can have that kind of problem where it feels like someone wants to own you and they get really jealous of your time and energy if you spend it with anyone else. That could be a problem that you run into, hopefully not frequently. But it's just because you have such an addictive energy. It's because you have such a unique energy. People realize that there's no replacing you. Well, lovelies, that is what I've got for you today, pile one. Thank you so much for being here with me. I will see you next time. Have a good day. Alright, guys, now we are on pile two. That's going to be the 10 of diamonds. So already what I'm getting is that you're a very abundant person, if not materially, then spiritually. You come off as a very larger than life energy is what I'm feeling. People are probably very impacted by your energy, like right when they meet you. That might be something that you hear a lot, that people are very, very changed just by knowing you, even if they've only had like really passing encounters with you. I have a feeling that you have changed more people, like altered their points of view than you could possibly know. You might be an activist. You might be someone who's really open about your belief systems. And your belief systems might be a little bit controversial or a little bit unorthodox and out of the ordinary. And people are drawn to that. It makes you really unique. Your point of view is very, very unique. And people are very drawn to that. They want to know more. And I get the feeling that you're okay sharing it. You're a very open person. You're very, very giving with your time and your energy. And that makes you unique. Your willingness to teach other people and the fact that other people want to learn from you, it makes you unique. All right, and we've got strength. Yeah, I have a feeling that you're a very go against the grain sort of person. If you are a business-minded person, you're likely someone who has had very unorthodox or out of the eccentric is what I'm thinking, eccentric business ideas. And if you haven't put in the time and energy to pursuing those, I think you should go for it, because there's definitely the sign here that your efforts would be rewarded. You're someone who gives off very strong luck energy. You might have heard that you're very lucky in life. Definitely the sense of someone who, when you are willing to take the risk, you are rewarded for it. The 10 of Cups. And people like you. People really like you. You're a very charming person. Between your unorthodox points of view and your willingness to persist behind them, I think people can be a little bit surprised just how kind and charming you are. You're not someone who's abrasive. You're not someone who forces your point of view on other people. You're just someone who's very open about it, and someone who's very willing to teach and willing to offer people advice if they need it. I do get the energy of like almost a big brother feeling here. If you see, it looks almost like the prince is in charge of the group, obviously. He looks almost like a big brother in that sense. And that's the energy that I'm getting here. People really look up to you. People find you to be a very good mentor. It's something that makes you unique. The Ace of Swords. Because you're smart. You're smart and you're very good at the beginning of this reading, I think I mentioned that communication and cleverness is something that the collective had in common. This is a very pure example of that energy. You are very good with your words, and you're very good at articulating yourself. Even with sensitive topics, I feel you're probably someone who, even when you're talking about something that could be potentially very controversial, you're very good with your words, and you're very good at getting your point across, and people really respect that about you. They like listening to you talk, and they like learning from you because they respect that about you. You're a very, very intelligent person, and I get the feeling that you're not condescending at all about it. You're not someone who feels like you're more intelligent than other people or acts like you're more intelligent than other people, even when you are. Even when that is objectively true. You're a very, very kind person, and you're willing to explain to other people and educate other people on your points of view. And it makes you stand out. It's a very unique quality that you have. The Three of Wands. And despite all of your really lofty views and all of your really like, I get educated, frankly, all of your really, really intelligent conversations and all of the very, very complex topics that you often find yourself discussing, you're still a very, very down to earth person. The Three of Wands here is depicted by the little prince taking care of his home. You're someone who is still very down to earth. You're someone who is still very relatable, despite having all of these very lofty points of views, and despite feeling like you can be very intimidating. I have a feeling that your energy can be very intimidating to people, especially people who have heard of you but have never met you. The first time they meet you, I get the feeling if you're ever introduced to someone, or even if you just meet someone in passing and they seem very nervous to be speaking to you, it's likely that they know you. Like, they might know you from, like, just around. People might have mentioned you or talked about you. You're a lot more popular, I think, than you realize. I think that you're someone who you don't realize just how much other people love you and really value your point of view. The Nine of Wands, yeah, because you've been through a lot. I have a feeling that your point of view is not just something that, like, you're not just book smart. You've also got all of the, like, actual groundwork to back it up. You're someone who has done the legwork, and that experience is part of where your point of view comes from. It's part of where your opinions come from. You're not just someone who has read them out of a book. You're someone who has been very involved in the things that you're talking about. And people know that, especially the people that, like, get to know you. They know that. It's part of why they value your opinion so much, because you have been through what you're talking about. You're not just talking to hear yourself talk. And it can be very difficult to find intellectuals who are like that. It can be very difficult to find people who are both intellectual and down to earth, who have the experience and also the ability to explain it in a way that is educational to other people. It's very, very unique. It's a very, very unique it's a very unique part of you. I was going to say skill, but it's not really a skill. It's that you've lived a very unique life. You're someone who's lived a very unique life. You've been through very, very unique things. The Nine of Wands speaks of almost wariness, someone who has gone through so much and they're a little bit tired, they're a little bit battered. The Nine of Wands also speaks of someone who is, like, attractive in that, like, in that sense of unbeatable. You're someone who's been through so much that people look at you with almost a sense of awe, especially once they really get to know you. I have a feeling that people are constantly surprised because they're constantly learning more and more and more about you. And you treat it all like it's very, very normal stuff. I feel like maybe you might think that you are a lot more average than you actually are. You may feel that you are a lot more average than other people see you to be, because this is the energy. It's very strong, palpable energy. You have a very strong presence, and people really like that about you. People really respect that about you. You're someone who has been through so much, and no matter what, you're still capable of, you made it all the way to the end. You've been through everything and you came out on the other side, and you have all of these stories to tell about it. It can be very, very intimidating and very, very attractive. People are very attracted to that about you, I think, both romantically and platonically. And that is very unique about you. I get the feeling that people can they can be a little bit confused about how they think about you. You might be someone who friendships can be a little bit murky for you, like your friends fall in love with you, and it's because people have a difficult time differentiating between respect and attraction and wanting to know more about you because they're interested in you versus they're interested in what you've experienced. Like, I feel like you have such a strong energy that people are attracted to it in a way that confuses them sometimes, that maybe catches them a little bit off guard. And you've likely dealt with people feeling like you are their soulmate. You are someone who is there for them specifically, when that's not really the case. What's going on is that you are a very, you just have this very strong energy and people gravitate towards it. It's very magnetic. You're a very magnetic person. and the Five of Swords. Again, with that energy of between the Nine of Wands and the Five of Swords, there's almost this like bad boy energy going on here where like you you've been through so much and you've experienced so much and you're so intelligent, but there's still this like ruggedness about you. And it's not that it's masculine necessarily. There's not like there's any sort of like masculine or feminine lean towards it. It's just this energy of being someone who is very, very intimidating. You're a very intimidating person. You've been through so much. And I think what makes you the most intimidating to other people is you do not realize just how intimidating you are. I don't think that you realize just how just how nervous you make other people feel. If you look at this Five of Swords here, the people are turned the other way, away from the fox. They're not noticing all of this fighting going on. I don't think you notice the energy that you bring to rooms. Sorry about that. There's a phone call I had to take. But, as I was saying, I don't think you realize that you make people so nervous, that you come off as so intimidating. Because you don't try to. I think that people are just intimidated by you. Yeah, Temperance at the bottom of the deck. You yourself, I do not feel are very argumentative. I don't think that you try to be this larger than life person. Even with all of this energy of like progressive thought and out of the box thinking, I don't think that you're someone who is very argumentative at all. I don't think that you're someone who pushes your beliefs at all. And it makes it very easy for people to learn from you, and it makes you very, very magnetic. You draw people to you very easily without even trying. Like, for the most part, I get the feeling that a lot of you wouldn't identify as activists or anything like that. You're just people with opinions, and you're people who aren't afraid to share them. And because of how you share your opinions, and because of that lack of fear, it draws people to you. It works almost conversely, where because you're not looking for people to be drawn to you, people are magnetically drawn to you. They can't help but notice you. You are very unique. You're just a very unique person. All right, and we've got the Fox. Clever, agile, and nimble, sexually seductive. Part of why people have such an easy time learning from you is also because you're a very attractive person. Temperance is also indicative of Sagittarius, which is a very sensual sign. And the Ten of Cups is very indicative of family energy. You're someone that people want to build things with. You're definitely someone that people want to build things with, and it's because you come off as kind of the total package. You're someone who's very clever and good with your words. You're someone with a backbone who has a cause that you believe in and that you live for. And you're someone who's very physically attractive. And not just physically attractive, but you feel like someone who's very fun. You feel like someone who, the reason why you don't spend so much of your time arguing, even though you have such strong beliefs, is because you very, very strong, you only live once energy, very strong, go with the flow energy. Like, if people don't agree with you, I have a feeling that you have a very easy time just walking away from that. And there is a sense of confidence here. There is a sense of confidence in the fact that you know what you're talking about because you've lived what you're talking about. So you don't need to argue with anyone about what you're talking about. You're talking from lived experience. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone, and you know that. And we've got the Hawk. Quick to pick a fight, vain, and temperamental. That is not how people see you, though. I get the feeling that people try to pick fights with you. I have a feeling that rather than you being quick to fight, the rooms that you are in and the situations that you are in test your temperament quite a bit. I get the feeling that you're a very patient person. I get the feeling, if not patient, then you're someone who's capable of Self-soothing comes to mind. Um, you self-control, that's the word that I'm looking for. You have very good self-control, and I get the feeling that there are people who like to push that. There are people who really try to push that, especially people who don't agree with you, because again, you're very open with your beliefs, you're just not very pushy with them. And I get the feeling that people aren't used to that combination. They're not used to someone who is both very, very firm in what they believe while also being very uninterested in whether or not people agree with them. And I have a feeling that people really like to push you. They really, really like to push you. There are people who want to see you lose your cool just because you come off as someone who is so difficult to make lose their cool. I get the feeling that when you're in rooms where people want to pick a fight with you, it turns into a challenge because again, people want to pick a fight with you. People want to test your temperament. I have a feeling that it's partially because you come off as such a well-tempered person despite the situations that you end up in. And we've got the Falcon, survivor, ruthless, and easily insulted. Yeah, because you've lived through a lot. It's you've lived through a lot. I have a feeling that when it comes down to just like random people picking fights with you, it's very easy for you to brush it off. And I don't think that it takes a whole lot for you to write someone off. Again, this is the energy of you know what you're talking about. You've lived what you're talking about. So you are uninterested in proving that to anyone else. You've already survived it. And you're uninterested in like playing the game where you go back and forth and pretend that you're even taking in what people are trying to tell you or what arguments people are tossing at you. Like it's a waste of time. I get the feeling that that's kind of a waste of time. So it's really easy for you to walk away from it, especially when people are like flat out insulting you about it. When people like push hard and really try to get a fight out of you, I have a feeling that you're really good at ending it and walking away. And that pisses people off. I get the feeling that that makes people very upset. That bothers people quite a bit that they can't get under your skin. And we've got the dog, territorial, easily fooled, and easily attached. And it's because you've been fooled before. It's because you've been taken in before. It's likely that the things that you've lived through, you lived through because they were situations that other people put you in. It's likely that you've experienced really, really profound betrayals, frankly. It's likely that you, if not from like specific people, then from social structures. Like there's a sense here of being radicalized. There's a sense here of you have the opinions that you have because you were hurt by them. You have the experience that you have because you experienced it in a very negative fashion. You had to survive what you went through. You had to live through this stuff. And there's a sense of growing out of it. There's a sense of being taken in by something that you maybe didn't quite understand when you were younger, maybe a parent's ideology or a religious ideology that you ended up walking away from, or any kind of ideology that you ended up walking away from. There's a sense here of waking up almost, like realizing that even if it's a specific person, they don't have your back the way that you thought they did. There's a sense of having to grow out of the feeling of betrayal and get over that reliance to really see things for yourself. Very radicalized energy. You came to these opinions on your own because you had to, because you were put in a situation where you had to think for yourself. And we've got the Centaur. Highly intelligent and insightful, healing and mystical, hard to know and harder to bother. That sums up everything that I've said so far, I think. You're a very, very intelligent person, and you're very insightful, and those two qualities are not qualities. They might have been qualities that you were born with, but because of what you've been through in your life, they're qualities that you've sharpened. I believe your experiences have made you very good at reading people and reading situations. Your experiences have taught you a lot. You've learned a lot through your life, and that makes you very unique. Everyone lives their life, right? Everyone has experiences. Not everyone learns their lessons. In fact, very few people can learn their lessons as quickly as it seems you have learned your lessons. Healing and mystical, you're a very healing person. Your energy is very healing to be around. I think that's part of why you're so magnetic. And it's because you've had to heal yourself. You've had to do lots of internal healing. So you vibrate and radiate that energy of health, of healing. People feel very drawn to you because you're a very internally healed person. And because of that internal healing, you're very, very difficult to bother. And unhealed people are so bothered by that energy. I have a feeling that, like, part of why people try to fight you or pick fights with you is because they don't want to believe that you are who you say you are. Like, I have a feeling that you're very, very polarizing. I get the sense that your name has come up in rooms that you have never been in amongst groups of people, and you're a very polarizing figure within these groups of people. Some people adore you. They adore you. They want to know more about you. Everything they know about you so far, they're so impressed with. And some of these people, there's no other word for it. They're jealous. They're jealous because they don't want to believe that someone like you exists. They don't want to, they feel that you are too good to be true. And if you're too good to be true, that means that you're lying to them. And it's like this anger that comes with that, this bitterness that comes with that, this feeling that you are fooling them. So they push you because they want to prove that you're not who you say you are. And they come out more angry on the other side because, frankly, you are who you say you are. You're not fooling anyone. You're not being anything other than yourself. You're a very authentic person who's been through a lot, and it's made you who you are. And your experiences in life and how they've made you, how you've come out on the other side of them, it's very unique. You have become a very unique person. I get the sense of, like, being fired up in a kiln, like walking through fire, and instead of being burnt alive, coming out on the other end a piece of pottery worth millions. Like, you are a one in a million person because you've been through so much and it made you who you are instead of making you bitter or angry or broken. Like, you're someone who came out on the other side better, and that is incredibly unique. And we've got the crane, traditional, reclusive, and aloof. Yeah, I do get the sense here that you've pulled your energy back. Like, hard to get to know. Very much the energy of someone who is hard to get to know. I have a feeling that because you have faced betrayal in your past very specifically, it can be very difficult for you to trust people, and people catch on to that. I feel like people can kind of sense that about you. It's part of what makes you magnetic too for a lot of people. People want what they can't have. People are desperate for what they can't have, and they can't have you. You're not interested in proving yourself to anyone. You're not interested in being a sideshow for anyone to gawk at. People, I think, have to prove themselves to you, and they need to prove that they'll actually be worth having in your life. I don't think you're someone who is unkind to people. Again, there is a sense here that you're very magnetic and you're very willing to teach anyone who wants to listen and learn. But being willing to teach people, even being willing to share your experiences with people, that's not the same thing as really letting someone into your life. And I feel like you can maybe have issues with trusting people to really enter your life and be in your life, which is unfortunate because you come off as just such a caring and nurturing person. But no matter what, love, if people aren't respecting you, there's no better thing to do than walk away. You're a very unique person because you have been made to be a very unique person through your life. and you've come out on the other end of really profound experiences, a very, very one in a million type of person. It's very powerful energy. It's very awe-inspiring energy. I can see why people are so intimidated by you just off of your energy. And that is what I've got for you today, love. I hope that it was helpful. I will see you next time. Have a good day. All right. And we're on pile 3. That's going to be the 7 of spades. So already I'm getting a very slick energy. Not in a bad way. The energy of someone who can talk your way out of anything. You can talk your way out of any trouble, basically. It's what makes you unique. The way that you talk and the way that you spin stories. I get that you're a really good storyteller. I get that people really like hearing about the things that you've done in your life. I have a feeling that you've had a really interesting life. And you're also someone who is just really good at weaving stories. A very good storyteller. Alright, now what makes my pile 3 unique? I get the sense that you are very, you're very good at seeing things from different perspectives. Not just from different people's perspectives, but you're very good at like taking a step back and viewing a situation from a different angle. Yeah, we've got the 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, and you're very good at seeing things like the bigger picture. You're very good at seeing the bigger picture and the rewards in the long run, basically. You're someone who's capable of sacrificing now so you can get the rewards later, basically. It makes you very unique, and it also makes people look up to you. I have a sense that people admire this about you a lot. Part of why people like hearing your stories is that they admire what you have to say. You've lived a very interesting life, and you've lived a very, I don't want to say fun, but like enjoyable. I get the feeling that you have a lot of stories that just make your life sound really fun. They make your life sound really interesting, and people love to hear about that. You've lived a very unique life. And the King of Cups. Between the 10 of Pentacles and the King of Cups, there's this sense that you're very royalty almost. Like you hold yourself in very high regard, and that energy makes other people hold you in high regard as well. The King of Cups is also indicative of Scorpio. So as materially abundant as you are, and if you are not yet materially abundant, the people around you have no question that you will see material abundance in this lifetime. You're someone who comes off as very stable and someone who has a plan in mind for your future, basically. Like you're not just like freeballing it in life. You've got a plan going in your life. And if you don't, you definitely come off that way. Like no one would guess that you are not very assured in what you're doing, basically. Again, very royal. There's a sense that you're a very good leader, a natural leader. You might not be someone who's in a position of power at all. People still look up to you a whole lot, though. Like if you're someone who has a presence online, especially, people have been following you. I have a feeling that you've been building up. Again, the 10 of Pentacles speaks of long-term growth and long-term reward. So I have a feeling that you've been in this process of building yourself and building your empire. The word empire comes to mind. And people have been watching you. Like people have had their eyes on you, and you're coming into yourself recently, I think. Right now is probably a very big time for you. Again, the King of Cups speaks of Scorpio, and we're in Scorpio season. This reading is timeless, but like right now, at this very moment, I am in Scorpio season. And there's a very transformative energy that follows Scorpio around, that follows the planet Pluto around. I have a feeling that you are currently in a very transformative time in your life. And you're transforming into someone who is even more unique than you already are. I get this image of like a butterfly spreading its wings. As materially abundant as you've been, as adventurous as you've been, as enjoyable as your life has been thus far, you're entering into a phase where your life is going to be even more eventful, even more impactful. And the word impactful comes to mind. I have a feeling that community is going to be very important in this next phase of your life. And the Seven of Wands. I have a feeling that you're going to help people. You're going to take everything that you've learned and you're going to end up helping other people. There's this very organic feeling here. I don't think that you are necessarily going to, I think you're going to stumble into this basically. Like, I don't think that this is going to be something that you plan to get involved in. I think that you will just end up in a situation where your expertise are just valuable in that given moment, and you are a kind enough person and again a natural leader that you will just step in and start helping. The Seven of Wands in this particular image is the lamplighter. He in the story of the Little Prince, he mans the lamppost, and his planet has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where he lives so he can put the lamp out and relight it. The Seven of Wands speaks of that energy of like fighting to stay on top, that energy of having to put in extra fight to stay exactly where you are almost. The lamplighter lives his whole life around constantly rotating this light, regardless of whether or not it's useful to anyone. It's just what he does. I have a feeling you're going to enter into a community that really needs someone to break them out of that kind of routine. And you're going to be, again, I think I mentioned that you're very good at shifting perspective and seeing things from a different angle. You're going to enter into a community that needs that energy right now. And your unique point of view, your unique ability to shift things and change people's perspective, it's going to it's going to play a huge part in the next portion of your life. The Queen of Cups. The King of Cups and the Queen of Cups. You're going to find balance and you're going to find partnership. Again, community is going to be very, very important in this next part of your life. I have a feeling that up until this point, you may have been lonely. There's no other word for it. Like, community may not have been a very big part of your life up until now, or at least in the past couple chapters of your life. I do have this feeling of like a hermit energy where you've been building up your abundance personally, but you haven't necessarily been in very deep community with the people around you. That's going to change soon. You're going to enter into union with community soon. And there's going to be at least one person who complements you perfectly in this next stage of your life. You're going to find a very, very deep partnership. The Queen of Cups is indicative of a Cancer energy between the Scorpio and the Cancer and the King and the Queen of Cups. There's this sense that you're going to find someone who balances you and matches you perfectly. This is very strong soulmate energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but it will be extremely impactful on your life, which is really, really nice because you yourself seem to be a very, very impactful human being. You seem to be someone who impacts the lives of the people who you come into contact with, even if it's just to inspire them. There's something very inspiring about you. There's something very inspiring about your story, about where you've been in life. It's part of why people like hearing you and hearing your stories so much. And it's part of why people look up to you and part of why they're willing to follow you. It gives you this natural leadership energy. People assume that you know what you're talking about. You're going to meet someone that complements that energy. You're going to meet someone who doesn't feel like they are learning from you explicitly, someone who you can also learn from. There's going to be a very nice give and take in this energy here. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic, but for a lot of you, it will be romantic. This is someone who is very emotional, very deep, someone who you'll likely have lots of like very, very deep conversations with, someone who I'm getting the energy of like late night kitchen floor talks, basically, like 3 in the morning out on patio talks, the kind of talks that like in the light of day they feel almost awkward to look at. That's the kind of soul bonding energy that you're going to find in the community that you enter in next to. And I have a feeling that for a lot of you that will be with a very specific person too. And the King of Pentacles, definitely community. There are 3 different court cards here, and with the 2 kings and the 2 complementing suits at that, there is a sense that you will find friendship. Again, for a lot of you, you will find romance, but for all of you, there will also be friendship in the community that you enter in next to. There is a sense here of a friend group. You'll be entering into a group of people. There's definitely a wipe of loneliness here. Like if you've been feeling stagnant, if the energy around you has been feeling kind of lonely, that's all going to change up very soon. And how you've developed in your hermit period is a lot of what makes you unique. And what makes you unique is what's going to draw these people to you. Your story, what you've gone through, and the way that it's changed you and helped you shift your perspectives. It makes you so unique and so very valuable. The community that you're going to enter into is going to find so much value in you. And I have a feeling that that's kind of what you've been lacking in life. I don't think that you've gotten a whole lot of validation. I think that's part of why you've gotten so good with your words, because there are only so many ways you can ask someone, or ask anyone, basically ask all of the important people in your life up until now to give you the validation that you need without flat out saying that. I have a feeling that you've gotten very good with your words because you've had to talk around things a lot in your life. You might have had tricky parents growing up. You might have had issues with your parents or issues with friends growing up. You might not have had the most stable home life growing up, and it made you really good at seeing the brighter side of things, and also talking your way around things and making things seem better maybe than they actually are. And that ability is very, very unique. It made you a very unique person, and that uniqueness is going to be very highly valued in where you're going next. And we've got the King of Swords reversed. That's the 3rd king, and as a reversed king, there is a sense here that initially entering into this friend group is going to be a little bit tricky for you because you haven't been... I get the energy here of someone who has spent a lot of time alone, basically. Like, I keep mentioning a hermit time period. There's a strong sense that you've spent a lot of time alone, and it might take you a second to get used to being around people again, basically. It might take you a second to get used to having, like, people hit up your phone all the time. Definitely don't push yourself. That's such weird advice, but what I'm getting is don't push yourself. Let these relationships happen organically. You don't have to feel pressured, and anyone who's making you feel pressured isn't right for you. You should be able to feel intuitively like you belong in a space. You should be able to feel intuitively like you're comfortable in a space. And we've got the Beaver, dedicated, hard worker, and team player. Yeah, you aren't someone who is difficult to get along with. I have a feeling that you have been holding yourself back for the time period that you've been spending alone. Now that you're going to be opening yourself up, you're going to... I just get that you're gonna go from having no one in your DMs to having like everyone in your DMs. That's the message that you're getting here more than anything else. This whole community has hijacked your reading. I'm not even getting a whole lot of how you specifically are unique, outside of the fact that your uniqueness is drawing so many people towards you. That it's drawing soulmate energy towards you, it's drawing community energy towards you. I have a feeling for a lot of you, you've been manifesting this kind of found family energy too. And that's what you're pulling in right now. That's what you're drawing in. We've got the beat, we've got the otter. Cute and well liked, popular, clever, and fast thinker. Popular and well liked. Again, you're pulling in, you're definitely, I get almost like fine tuning. It's like you're fine tuning right now to send out this signal, and you're about to start getting a lot of people answering that call just kind of intuitively. It's like you are stepping into a next portion of your life where you're prepared to handle everything that's going to come at you. And you're just being warned right now to be prepared for that. And we've got the phoenix, traditional, secretive, and flighty. Yeah, and again, it might feel a little bit unorthodox at first. It might feel a little bit overwhelming at first. Make sure that you take time for yourself and make sure that you give yourself time to adjust, basically. This is such an odd message. It's so different than than any other of the messages that I've had so far, but it's definitely the one that's coming through for you. What makes you unique is the fact that you've lived a really incredible life, and you, even if your life hasn't been super unique as far as like your story goes, your point of view, how it's made you, who it's made you, all of the ways you've developed because of it, those things are incredibly unique about you. And it's what's drawing all of these people to you. I have a feeling that people have been watching you for a really long time, especially if you've been like open about your journey on social media. I have a feeling that people have been watching you for a long time, and just kind of like intuitively they've known to kind of stay away from you, and that's changing. If you believe in a spiritual or like separate power, there's definitely this shift that's happening here that's like letting people know that it's okay to come towards you, that like protection and that guard around you is being lifted, and people are starting to get the vibe that it's okay to come towards you. And that's the message that I'm getting more than anything else, that your uniqueness is drawing all these people towards you. It has been for a really long time, and the floodgates are about to open. And we've got hammerhead sharks, unique, talented, and adaptable. Unique, again, your reading is just that you are unique, and that uniqueness is drawing people towards you. Everyone who gets this reading will be unique in a different way. Everyone who gets this reading will have a different story. If you want to let me know what your story is, that would be kind of awesome. Don't feel pressured, but everyone who gets this reading has a different story and has a different thing that makes them unique. The thing that you all have in common is that uniqueness is so valuable to the people around you. People see so much value in that uniqueness, and it's been drawing people towards you for a very long time, and you're about to start seeing just how popular you really are. If you've been feeling kind of energetically bothered lately, that's coming from that too. It's just from people watching you. People have been keeping an eye on you even more so recently. And I think their energies are kind of starting to like mingle and cross threads with yours. And we've got the panther, exotically beautiful, mesmerizing, powerful, and athletic. There's just something very, very, very mesmerizing about you. People are so drawn to you and your story and what you've been through and how you live your life. You're just very unique in how you operate and how you hold yourself, and that is what's drawing people towards you. You're also obviously very, very attractive. You're very attractive, And I have a feeling that the way you look, again, everyone who gets this reading will look differently. The thing that you all have in common is that there's something very unique about your look that is striking. There's something very, very striking about how you look. There's something very hypnotic and mesmerizing about how you look. There's like the word pretty, the word beautiful, like these words aren't really what come to mind. What comes to mind is striking, haunting, like the kind of words that make people think and make people, the kind of words that make muses out of people, that can turn you into a muse for artists. And we've got the orca, competitive, killer instinct, and ruthless. Oh, you're very, very intimidating. Maybe not very intimidating, but there is something kind of intimidating about you. I think that people, I think it's that people underestimate you. Like, part of why people haven't known whether or not to approach you up until now is that you're a very difficult person to read as far as how you'll receive other people. I think that you can be very hot and cold, and your temperament is also what makes you unique. Like, you can be rather hot and cold, and it's not that you are unpredictable, it's that you need to get to know you to understand when you'll be hot and when you'll be cold. You are a very uniquely tempered person, and people have been reading you, basically. I feel like people have been sitting back and reading you and trying to get to know you because they don't want to mess up when they approach you. First impressions might be very, very important to you. If they aren't very important to you, people definitely think that they're very important to you. There's there's just this feeling that you, between the bottom of the deck energy being the King of Swords reversed and then the Orca, there's this sense that no matter how magnetic you are, there's just this underlying sense of intimidation. Like, people feel very trepidatious about crossing that line and getting to know you because they're worried about screwing it up. They don't know. They've seen you be very, very friendly to some people, and they've seen you bite the heads off of other people. And there's something here about people not knowing whether what version of you they're going to get. And it can be very intimidating. It can be very scary. The word scary comes to mind. It's not that you're scary, it's just that people respect you a whole lot, and I don't think that I think they want you to respect them as well, is what it is. You are a natural leader with a very charismatic personality and the story to match, and people want your respect because they respect you, and they've seen the fact that you don't just give your respect out to everyone. That's part of why they want your respect as well. You know, you don't just hand that out like candy. You do have to actually be impressed by someone to respect them in the way that these people want you to respect them. And it makes them a little bit nervous. It makes them feel like there's already a little bit of a power imbalance because they want you to like them so much, and you don't even know them yet. I'm sorry that your reading was hijacked so much by other energies, but it's definitely the reading that was coming through for you. Be prepared for the next chapter of your life because people are really, really anxious to get to know you. There's definitely soulmate energy, possibly for a lot of you more than one. There's this definite energy of found family coming towards you. People really want to get to know you, and there's very strong soulmate vibes in that. If you've been feeling lonely recently, if you've been feeling a little bit cut off recently, don't worry, that's going to change. All right, pile 3, thank you so much for being here with me today. I will see you next time. Have a good day. And last but certainly not least, we've got pile number 4 with the 10 of clubs. So already what I'm getting is that what makes you unique is your ability to always pick yourself back up and keep moving. I get the feeling that you're someone who is very good at multitasking, like someone who's capable of building different parts of your life at the same time, like someone who probably has a really good work-life balance, the kind of person who would be capable of both raising a family and having a really, really satisfying career. That ability to, that determination is part of what makes you unique. What makes my pile for unique? Alright, and we've got the Ace of Cups. Yeah, you're someone who always has new ideas. I get the feeling of someone very creative, and your creativity makes you unique. You have very fresh ideas. I get the feeling that you have very out of the box thinking when it comes to your creativity. Yeah, and the Nine of Pentacles. And you're really good at making those things reality. Like, I get the feeling of someone who dreams very, very big and is still capable of manifesting those big dreams on the physical plane. You're someone who's very, very capable of turning your dreams into reality, and that ability to manifest, it makes you very, very unique. People have watched you turn nothing into something. People have watched you set goals that seemed impossible and then made them happen. Check them off as just like milestones when people never thought that you'd even get there. Like, there's something very, not whimsical, but almost like fairy-like about you. There's this energy of someone who is capable of making miracles happen. Someone who is capable of always being positive and looking on the bright side and being rewarded for that. We've got the Four of Cups. Yeah, I get the energy. If you can see, the rose has a glass covering over it that's keeping the water from getting on it. Again, I get the energy of someone who nothing can rain on your parade. You have a very positive outlook, and that positive outlook has helped you turn your dreams into reality before. People have watched you take all of that positivity and manifest it into real things. It's part of what makes you unique, your ability to always look on the bright side and not be toxic about it. I don't get the sense of toxic positivity here. I do get the sense of someone who cannot be deterred. Again, I don't think that you have an easy time making this stuff reality. I think you are just very, very good at picking yourself up no matter how many times you fail, and trying and trying and trying again. Even if people don't see that process, even if people just see you suddenly make things appear, they don't see the things that go on in the background. They don't see all the work that you put into it in the background. It doesn't mean that that work didn't go into it. What makes you unique is your ability to get up every time something doesn't work out, brush yourself off, and not give up on your dream. And the fact that you don't give up on your dream, the fact that you have faith in yourself, the fact that you have faith in your ideas, you are rewarded for that. You are regularly rewarded for that. And you're definitely being guided to continue to follow that. You're definitely being guided to continue to indulge your creativity. It helps you manifest things. I get the sense of someone who is a very, very powerful manifester, and physically trying, like putting hands-on effort into making those manifestations a reality. It's part of why you are such a good manifester. You don't just rely on you don't just rely on the universe or any kind of spiritual energy to make things work for you. You're more than you're more than happy, and you're more than capable of getting your hands all the way dirty yourself so you can make your dreams come true too. That dedication and that willingness to stick to it, it makes you unique. And we've got the Six of Pentacles. Now, right here, the pilot is drawing a sheep for the little prince. And the little prince makes that sheep a reality, basically. He asks the pilot for a sheep, and when the pilot draws him a sheep, the little prince, that sheep is now real. That, again, it's that same level of manifestation that follows you. Scripting might be a very powerful method of manifestation for you. You might find a lot of quick results in your manifestation if you start doing things like scripting, if you start actually like physically drawing out what you want or writing out what you want. I have a feeling that your manifestations will become even more powerful. There's this sense here that the Six of Pentacles is indicative of physical balance. And what I'm getting with that here is you're very good at turning your physical energy into manifestation exchange, basically. So like when you work at the things that you want to manifest, say that you want to be a famous novelist. The more you write, as long as you stick to your writing, as long as you stick to your efforts, you'll find success there. Paths will open up for you, things will happen for you. You will manifest your reality just by fighting for it. You're a very powerful manifester, and I have the sense that's part of what makes you extremely unique. You're a very powerful manifester. You're very good at making things a reality for yourself. I have a feeling that this is really like natural to you too. This all comes very naturally to you. Like, even if you didn't know that scripting is something that would help you a lot, I have a feeling that for a lot of you, it's still something that you do, whether you know it or not, whether you know that you're like writing down your goals or not, because you don't have to necessarily be writing out the same sentences over and over again for it to be scripting. Writing your goals down every day, every week, that's a version of scripting as well. That's a version of physically putting down what you want and manifesting it into a reality. Making vision boards, all of that kind of thing, that kind of hands-on manifestation work, I feel it would be very useful for you personally manifesting, and it's part of what makes you unique. I have a feeling that you just kind of naturally lean towards that kind of stuff. There's a very powerful sense of intuition here. Your intuition makes you very unique because you have very strong intuition. I'm suddenly really thirsty too. I don't know who needs to hear it, but someone needs to drink more water. I also need to drink more water. But I've been very, very thirsty since the beginning of this reading. I have a feeling that someone needs to drink more water. And we've got the King of Pentacles. You will see so much physical abundance in this lifetime, and people around you can feel that. The people around you can tell that you will see physical abundance in this lifetime. The King of Pentacles is indicative of Taurus, and Taurus rules the house of like value. Taurus has really strong money connotations and like physical value connotations. Taurus is also a very luxurious sign. You are going to see physical abundance in this lifetime. That's definitely the message that's coming through here, especially with two other pentacles on the table, and both of them being pentacles that can be indicative of money coming into you. There might be a windfall of money on its way to you as well. If you're expecting some kind of money coming in, this is confirmation that it's coming in. Both the Nine of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles can be indicative of money coming in, and there's definitely the strong sense that physical abundance is going to be really important in the next chapter in your life. Or if not important, it will be something that you have or something that you're building in the next chapter of your life. And the Lovers. And it's going to come from choices that you've made. What makes you unique is, one, your ability to make choices and stick to them, and two, your ability to make people feel loved. Between all of the aces, or between all of the cups and the pentacles, there's a very synchronized energy here. You make people feel very at home. You make people feel very, very comfortable around you without trying. And that energy it's part of what makes you unique. It's a very, very unique energy. Right. This next chapter of your life, for some of you, it'll involve a business partner. If you've been waiting for a business partner, this is confirmation that a business partner is on their way to you, someone who's going to help you fund your creative endeavors. The next chapter of your life is definitely going to be, it feels very fun. It feels like it might be a little bit taxing, but especially for any creatives out there, this next chapter of your life is probably going to see you making money off of your creative endeavors. And there's this sense that there's someone who is going to be involved with the next portion of your life that will want to help you fund those creative endeavors. Someone who is going to want to help you actually turn your dreams into a reality. Again, this is probably something that you have been manifesting for a very long time. Very strong soulmate energy here. It doesn't have to be romantic, but this is definitely going to be someone who wants to support you and wants to see you grow. And it'll likely be someone who is very, very good with their words. Might be a person of few words, but the words that they tell you will count. All right. And we've got the Owl, intuitive and sharp-sighted, protective and intelligent. Again, your intuition is very, very, very sharp, and it will serve you very well in this next portion of your life. We've got the Monarch butterflies, beautiful, healers, intuitive. The second intuitive card. And there's no denying it. You're definitely a very beautiful person. You're definitely a very physically attractive person. This is the kind of attraction too that it's very sensual. There's something very sensual about this kind of beauty. There's something very earthy about this kind of beauty. There's a huge chance that the person who you're drawing in to help you is going to be so willing to help you because they have certain feelings for you, whether you share those feelings or not. You're just a beautiful person. Part of what makes you unique is the fact that you're beautiful, you're creative. There's definitely a very free-spirited energy here. You definitely feel like someone who's kind of hard to pin down. Definitely someone who, though I do not feel, I definitely sense loyalty here, especially to your own ideas. But that loyalty to yourself and to your own ideas is part of what can make it difficult for you to be loyal to other people, because you can't promise them that kind of dedication when you've already got it stored up for yourself, you know? And we've got the flamingo, well-balanced, unorthodox, extremely durable. Yeah, but you're definitely going to be drawing in. Sorry, I needed to take a phone call. But as I was saying, it's not that I don't feel loyalty, because I feel that you're actually an incredibly loyal person. It's that I think that you're very you're very self motivated, and you're very self regulated as well. Like you're very independent, and you don't need other people to support you. And so it can it can be difficult to pin you down to any given situation, because you're you're only really loyal to yourself and who you give your loyalty to. So I do get the sense that there's someone coming into your life who is going to be very desperate for that loyalty, or very desperate to prove to you that they are worthy of your loyalty. And they're going to be willing to actually put in the effort to proving to you that they're willing to proving to you that they want to help you and they want to see you succeed. The next chapter of your life is definitely going to see someone who wants to watch your dreams become reality. And we've got the lion, showstopper, adaptable, feminine, and healthy. So that is actually no, I guess flamingo had durable. But between durable and adaptable, there's definitely the sense here that what makes you unique, again, wrapping back around to the idea that you always can pick yourself up and keep moving. And with that showstopper energy, there's the sense that people really like watching you do it. Again, people like watching you pick yourself up and keep moving along. There's something very, very, I don't want to say entertaining about how you live your life, but people enjoy watching you live your life. There's definitely something that people find really, really impressive about how you live your life. And I think part of it is that people can't figure out just how you make a lot of the stuff that you do work. Again, very strong manifestation energy. And there is this strong sense of like almost butterfly processing. You know, you've got the monarch butterflies, and there are butterflies all over the Ace of Cups here. Butterflies go from caterpillars to cocoons to suddenly butterflies. You don't see what happens in the cocoon. You don't see how the change happens. There's definitely a sense that like people love watching you and they love keeping an eye on you, because your process is just such a mystery to people. There's something so mysterious about how you work and how you operate. And I think part of it is there isn't a secret to how you work or how you operate. This is all just kind of how you live, and it's all just kind of how things work for you. And we've got the demon, hedonistic, sensual, and self-indulgent. Yeah, I don't think that you have like some sort of secret that you have. I think that this is just kind of how life works for you. This is how kind of the universe operates for you. I do get the sense that people can be a little bit jealous of that. People can be a little bit jealous of the fact that it just kind of seems like things work out in your favor. Again, but they don't see the work that you put into it behind the scenes. I think a lot of this is that you are so dedicated to yourself and dedicated to what you do, that you're being rewarded for the energy that you're putting into what you do. You believe that you can't fail, and you're being rewarded for that belief. And we've got the Kirin, lucky charm, mystically powerful, unusually intuitive and intelligent. We're ending again on another intuitive card. There's something very, very spiritual about you. If you're not a spiritual person in and of yourself, there's definitely something very just kinsmate about how you move through life. People just feel like there's something so mysterious about how you make things happen, and it's what makes you unique. There's just something so unique and so profound. The word profound keeps coming up too. People you change people's minds on things like mysticism, I think. Like, if you are someone who is around like really logic based people a lot, whether you try to or not, I think just being around you can kind of make them question their beliefs on things like magic and stuff like that. Territorial, dangerous, and proud with the eagle, and short attention span, misunderstood, and often gossiped about with the goldfish. Between both of those, what I'm getting is that people don't really know you. There's something so unknowable about you and something so unknowable about how you process things. Someone is going to be willing to try to get to know you soon, though. Someone is going to be worth getting to know soon, though. And I hope that is worth looking out for. Thank you so much, Pile 4, for being here with me today. I hope that this reading was enlightening for you. I will see you next time. Have a nice day.